Stow it, lady. You've resigned. And take your bloody NFTs with you.
It seems today that all you see is bouncing locomotives and stuff on TV. But where are those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely? Lucky there's the tales of the rails. You're lucky there's a man who positively can do all the things that make us laugh and wail. It's the tales of the Northwestern Rails.
Henry the Green Engine is a big engine who lives and works on the island of Sodom. He's a mixed traffic engine, meaning that he can pull both passenger trains and goods trains. But his main job is hauling the auto train from Vickerstown to many other places on the island. His most favorite location to traverse through is his own forest. Within the forest is a recent resident, Linny the log hauler. Unfortunately for her, Henry has not interacted with her ever since they met, due to a certain accident a while back. During Linny's first days on the job at the forest, she accidentally set off some sparks from her funnel and ignited some trees, thus accidentally causing a forest fire. Henry was most mortified when he heard about Linny's forest fire, and he thought what she did was intentional when really it was an accident. Linny hoped for the day that Henry would eventually forgive and forget. Approaching her were two friends, Don and Denny. They were originally crooks and henchmen of the Wreckers of Realism back in 2017, but during their prison time and community service in the forest, I'm glad to say that their personalities have changed.
Howdy, boss.
Hello, Linny. Is everything alright?
Well, nothing too major. It's just that big green engine with the number 3. He hasn't said much to me.
What about him? Is he not being nice to you?
And on a month like this, too?
No. It's not like that. It's just that it's been a little over a year since my accidental forest fire, and he spoke little to no words to me. However, he did say that I'll gain his trust one day. I'm hoping within this month is that day.
Oh, well, I believe he'll forgive you this year. Even if he doesn't, just know that you're among other friends like us.
Thanks, fellas.
Come on, lads! Both the former crooks hopped into Birdie and were escorted back to the Tidmouth Penitentiary.
You seem confident.
Who said that?
Me. The name's Scruffy. And I, too, know what it's like to lose one's trust. I was once the ringleader of the troublesome trucks. A couple of engines knocked me off my pedestal, but I eventually got the upper hand with 2 of 4 engines that annoyed me. But for a price, I abandoned some of my teammates and took revenge on that green caterpillar for myself. All it takes is just one move to lose everyone's respect. None of the trucks say hello when they pass. The lack of interaction, the pain, is nothing but suffering.
As a punishment for the rest of his life, Scruffy was converted into a road wagon, carrying loads from farms and other areas to and fro. Years have gone by, and Scruffy was beginning to break down, both physically and mentally. Recently, Trevor no longer needed Scruffy when his wagon was fixed, so he and Linny made an agreement to have Scruffy escorted to work at the lumber yard.
Well, you could talk to me if you want, but we'll do so tomorrow. For now, it's getting late.
Tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow I'll try again with my new friend in the same predicament.
The next day, the foreman of the lumber yard examined Scruffy.
I don't know about this wagon. It looks like it's in need of refurbishment.
The staff eventually decided to create a side project in order to restore Scruffy to his former glory. But unbeknownst to everyone in the forest and the lumber yard, Scruffy was going to perform a sinister final act.
Last load of the day, Scruffy. Today was a good run.
Last day. Good run, indeed. And like all good things, this one comes to an end.
Linny and Scruffy were taking their final load back to the lumber yard, but as they traversed over the crossing, there was a loud snap and clank. And the next second, they weren't budging.
Hey, we're not moving. Scruffy, what's happening back there?
Scruffy's axle had broken off and jammed within the rails of the crossing. Both were caught in the worst place at the worst time.
Oh no, Linny's stuck, and there's a train coming.
Quick, Denny, the handkerchief.
What's going on? I want Linny off the crossing right now.
Dawn raced up to Linny and unhitched her from Scruffy.
Stop!
Denny tried to flag Henry down.
Stop!
Henry was puzzled until he saw what was ahead at the crossing.
Driver, brakes!
Hey, log hauler, come back. Why wait for the melancholy to end when you can end it yourself?
Linny, are you alright?
Luckily, Linny was unharmed. The same could not be said for Scruffy. A chassis was laid off to the side, and large pieces of splintered, broken wood were scattered across the ground. Scruffy was no more. Henry was most mortified. He looked back at the crossing scene. Had Linny not got out of the crossing in time, or she was the one that got caught on something in the crossing, the accident would have been much more fatal. Sure, Henry may have had a grudge on Linny, but never to a point where he would hurt her. Henry felt awful for the rest of the day. The driver phoned for a cleanup at the lumber yards when they got to the top station, and an engine was brought in to clear up the mess and escorted to Whiff's rubbish dump.
Well, so much for our side project.
That evening, Linny was still remaining silent and shaken from today's events. Then, by her surprise, she saw Henry backing up next to her. Normally, he has his own shed in his forest that he could sleep in during the spring and summer, but tonight was going to be different.
Linny, listen, I know that you probably don't want to see me due to what happened, but I promise, I'm really sorry. I couldn't stop in time. It was unavoidable, you know?
I'm not scared of you, Henry. It was Scruffy. His last words in particular, something about ending it yourself. A cold chill ran down Henry's handrails.
You don't suppose he...
I wouldn't think about it too deeply, but it seems like a likely case.
Oh my. Oh, Linny. I'm so sorry about what Scruffy did, and for not forgiving you sooner. Tonight, I'm gonna sleep here with you. Just make sure you have a good night's rest, and not let the stress keep you awake. I hope it sounds good with you.
Oh, why thank you, Henry. And I forgive you. I think I'm going to be okay.
Oh, it's the least I could do. Alright, it's getting late now. We better get some shut-eye.
Sure thing. Good night, Henry.
Good night, Linny.
The next day, Henry quietly made his way to Vickerstown to start work. But whenever he got a chance to visit his forest, he always makes sure that Linny is recovering from the crossing accident. She even received visits from other engines traversing through the forest.
What a shame. I could have talked to that wagon.
Eventually, in due time, all's well that ends well. Linny was right as rain and working hard like the well-oiled machine she was. And Henry was glad that Linny's doing okay. And he's also glad that he's made a new friend in his forest.